Today is July 3rd, 2024. AKKO Repairs First Masterminds called to talk about how, or if anybody's having any struggles on selling plans. AKKO has a couple of other things they would like to mention also about this month's extra spiffs for people that attend the calls. And I'll turn it over to Ed.
Perfect.
That way.
Hey Brian, can you enable sharing? I gotta share my
Oh,
screen.
absolutely. I should have done that a minute ago. My
Brian,
apologies.
were any of you guys on the call like a month ago, the last one we did? David was?
David
Yeah,
was,
it was.
Abel was, yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
know a lot of you are pretty experienced, so we can also, if you guys have any questions about anything in particular, we can do those too.
Yeah, so I'll try to do maybe like this, since most of you guys saw this. Some of it is repetitive of what we showed last week, because you never know. They're a couple weeks ago, just never know who's going to be on. But I'll just skim through it. So I've got a deck here. I'll share this link with you guys. It's this link right here. I'll send this to you guys after the call. But a lot of the topics I'm going to go through today on the agenda right here, I actually have slides. I won't be covering the slides just to keep it short today, but all the slides are in the back for your reference if you want more details about all the items we're going to talk about today. So in today's agenda, you can see it right here. The spiffs, I'll let you guys read through this and I'll just start digging through these here real quick. So first off, for July spiffs, we're going to try to keep things a little bit more simple for you guys and keep the spiffs most likely all the way through Q3. So for July, August, September.
Oh, wow.
What we're going to do is you guys see the plans, what we're paying for the AKKO screen damage, full and everything plans, these 4 plans. As you know, the compensation is 2 times the MRC, which is the monthly recurring charge. For July, we're just going to do a $10 spiff on top of that. These are going to be the spiffs that are paid through that tremendous gift cards. So whether you sell or your employees sell, it's just like a straight up $10 to gift cards. And I know everybody likes this because it's straight cash, and then you can kind of accumulate your gift cards. But for you guys that own shops and need to pay reps, this is a good way for you you don't really have to pay them maybe if they're getting paid $10 directly through us. The cool thing about this too is that if the reps actually do a really good job, they sell a ton. Once they get hit $600 through Tremendous, then they would get some sort of 1099 that they would have to pay taxes beyond that. But everything before the $600, they wouldn't have to pay tax, because I get that question quite a bit. So basically, if they sold 60, they'd be good. And then if they sold 61, everything from then on would have to be, they'd have a 1099. But either way, that's how that works. So it's $10 extra for all the sales. Total comp you can see on the bottom is 26, 32, and 40. So we'll see how this goes in July. Hopefully that's simple. The fact that there's only 4 of you guys on here, do you guys have any input on this, or what are your thoughts? Feel free to chime in. Is this all right?
Just unmute yourself at your all's leisure.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, last month was pretty straightforward. It was, you got the extra $10 if you sold an $8 plan, $11 plan. It was 10 plus 11, 10 plus 8. That's the exact same thing that's going on this month or this quarter. Is that correct?
I believe so. We might have had a little bit beefier last month.
Yeah, last month we were doing 3 times the MRC, so it was a little bit more. Now we're just adding an additional $10 across the board, except for that $5 plan. So you can expect an extra $10 basically for anything.
But David also, Ed, correct me if I'm wrong. If your customer signs up annually, then you get 3 times the MRC.
Yep.
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. All right. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Cool. Sure. Well, like I said, hopefully that's helpful, guys. It feels pretty rich here for 26, 32, and 40 across the board. And as you guys know, we don't do chargebacks, which is great too. So that's it's really beneficial to start pushing these things. All right, so that goes into effect as of July 1st, and we'll most likely keep that in place for the next 3 months. We might beef it up a little bit, but what we want to do is just make sure that some of the feedback we got was that, every month it's nice having all the spiffs kind of changing and, they get generous and whatnot, but it just becomes hard to kind of manage because every month it kind of goes by really quickly, and then before you know it, it's a new spiff. So we just want to kind of keep the same ones maybe moving forward on a quarterly basis. So that's what we've got for spiffs, the annual plan process for you guys that were on last call. If you guys are interested in selling annual plans and being able to bill for those plans yourself, we have a new process set up. Just let us know. We need to make sure that it's somewhat of a manual process on our end. So we want to make sure that people that are doing this are actually committed and you're doing at least 10 a month to make it make sense for everybody. But the way that process works is it's pretty simple. The registration process is actually easier. The customers don't need to do the app, and you're not using our portal. We have a different form that you guys have to enter in the information, and then they get registered by us on the back end. And then we basically just invoice you for the plans that you sold at the end of the month. So if you're interested in doing this and you think you can do a 10 a month, let me or Lucia know, and then we'll give you guys more details and try to get that set up for you.
Ed, if you could answer this. If they're not using the app and they're using the form, are they still doing the required initial photos?
Yeah, it's happening at the registration process. So
typically it won't be the customer, doing the registration or taking the video in these cases. Yeah.
Say that again, please, Lucia. I'm sorry.
In these cases, on the form, it's a requirement for the video to be on there. So it'll typically be the store or the representative uploading the verification instead of the customer.
Oh, okay. Just a continuous video like they do on a claim?
Yep.
Okay, good to know.
Cool. So yeah, like I said, if you guys are interested, let us know. Next thing up is leasing and financing. So we've made a lot of strides here trying to figure out how to partner with some of these leasing companies like Acima, Progressive, and all these guys. It's still in the work. There's a lot of legalities that we have to hammer out on both ends. But what we found is that we're able to do kind of like that annual plan process I just mentioned a second ago. We can do those up front in tandem with a lease or a finance, right? And you can even do them in a 3 or 6 month chunk. So this is great if you're doing leasing, if you're doing it by yourself. Well, let me just pause. Are any of you for doing leasing right now? And if so, who are you guys using? I'll take that as
David, aren't you using, correct me if I'm wrong, David, are you using RTO Mobile?
I'm not familiar with that. What is that exactly?
RTO Mobile is a rent-to-own, basically a platform that you basically carry the paper on the device or the repair, meaning you cover the cost, but you're also making the interest. So if you qualify your customer and you say, yeah, I'm going to trust this person to make $50 a week payments for the next 8 weeks to pay off this phone, you set the interest amount, you set the payment frequency, and it's through RTO Mobile. Now they do charge for the contract and they do charge for a payment, but if you're an RFA member, they credit you $69 a month in free fees to offset your RFA membership fee of $69 a month. But you're getting $70 a month in free fees, so it's like 7 contracts a month you're going to get to be able to do for free. It's something that I wouldn't like just sign up anybody with. I would definitely look at it like a rent-a-center transaction. You're going to want to get a copy of their driver's license and verify where they work and verify they got a job, right? So that you're getting your payments. But I can help you with an application like that if you would like. Just shoot me an email. But it's through RTO Mobile. You can go to rtomobile.com and look at it, or you can log into your rfamember.com portal and scroll down to RTO Mobile and watch the video on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'll look. Oh, sorry. I'll look into that.
Okay.
Yeah, I work. So I work for Britt Bay. I'm a sales manager.
Yep.
So Britt Bay and Eugene. But
Yep.
yeah, we are not currently doing that at the moment. Doing buying up there and whatnot, and we've been pretty successful with AKKO so far.
Yep.
But that's just another. I mean, anything that we could use in our back pocket to help qualify a customer. I mean, we're all for it. I mean, anything that we can do to increase our bottom line, we're.
Hey David, could you turn your video off? You're real choppy. Sometimes that video takes up all your bandwidth. It was hard to.
Yeah, he's also frozen right now too.
All right, so while David comes back on here,
David, just tell Britt to log into his portal. If he has any questions, just tell him to ping me. I'll take care of them.
Yeah, I think you just jumped off. Okay.
Oh,
So guys,
okay.
if you're doing financing and you want to talk to us about how to bundle it together, once again, reach out to me or Lucia, and we can kind of walk you through. It's a really easy process, but it's you basically you can bundle these annual plans in to the pricing, especially if you're holding the paper, like Brian said. It helps minimize your risk for people that kind of walk off with the leasing, and so it's good to protect yourself and the customer. Next up is the customer support hotline. So we mentioned this in the last couple calls, but I just want to make sure you guys see this. Excuse me, if you guys need to ever call in to AKKO for support when you're customer facing and you have an issue, this is the number to call. So make sure you guys copy this down. You don't want to call this with random questions like, hey, I got a question about a plan, or I got a question about this. We don't want to tie up the number because this is one of those numbers we have one person manning it, right? So we want to make sure it's available when you guys need help with something that's customer facing and you need help right this second. So that's what that line's for. Feel free to use it. Feel free to copy it down, share it with your team. And if you ever get in a jam, this is what it's for. The next one is the marketing one-pagers. So if you guys haven't seen these, you can find these in the portal right here. And we've added new ones. So we've got the Canadian ones, which you guys probably don't need. I don't know if anybody I don't know if we have anybody from Canada in here. But this is where you can find the annual and monthly plans. We're gonna have ones from Ireland up here in a minute too. So be careful which one you're downloading. And here it is. So if you guys want these, if you don't have them already in your store, let me know. I can print these out and laminate them and mail them to you. So if you don't have them, let us know, and we'll get them in the mail. But these are the items you should be showing to customers when they're buying a plan. It really helps you guys kind of guide along the process on what's included, what the deductibles are. And if you have reps in the store that are new, or even just not very confident in their sales pitch, this really helps solidify, like, hey, here's what it is. Read these 4 bullets, easy peasy, right? So we can get those out to you if you don't have them printed and laminated already. So just let us know once again. And then if you want those, you can just put it in the chat and with your address in your store, and we'll get them mailed out to you. The next one is business school plans. I'll keep this real high level. We've talked about this before, and we've sent out emails, so hopefully you guys have seen this. But we have a different small business team here at AKKO, along with a school team. If you guys have any business opportunities or school opportunities, let us know. And we have a referral bonus for you, like a percentage. And it's pretty nice because all you do is say, hey, I've got this business that's interested in maybe covering 30 phones or 100 phones, or maybe it's a school where we know they want their tablets covered. Let us know, and you guys get a percentage of the sale. Some of these school deals are really rich, like they're like upwards in the hundreds of thousands, and you get, let's say it's 10%. You can make some really nice school deals.
Hey, Mehdi, could you just mute yourself for a minute, Mehdi, please?
Yes.
If I pronounced your name correctly, I'm sorry.
Somebody, yeah. Yeah, Brian, if you click over those 3 dots on someone, you should be able to mute people too.
Okay, well, I just like that way they know how to mute and unmute themselves. So,
so that's what we have for program updates. Once again, guys, for those that might have jumped on late, I have more details for all of these topics on this deck, and I will share this link. Actually, I'll just put this link in the chat right now so you have it. So feel free to share this with anybody in your team, or say it for yourself to find more details.
Hey, Ed, regarding that, asked quite a bit of people if you have any, you have any 1-pagers or 2-pagers of examples of what the cost would be for the school or for businesses that have multiple devices. I know it depends on what devices they're wanting to insure, but is there anything that we can give out to some of these people so they can at least engage in a conversation?
Yeah, we can see it. I know it was something that was on the roadmap for marketing. I haven't seen anything yet, but we'll once we have it, we'll pass it along.
Perfect.
And
thank
potentially house it within the portal.
Okay.
Cool. So next 4 topics here, we wanted to talk a little bit about how to position AKKO and kind of sales tactics. I know some of you guys on the call are actually really good, which is good. I know like the CPR up in it was David's story. You said you're CPR up in Eugene, right? You guys crush it, which is great. You guys have the record, like I think you did 41 sales in 1 week or something like that, which was pretty sweet.
They did.
Yeah, that was awesome. So let's just talk about this. I want to make this kind of open conversation too, and just want to kind of plant some seeds in your head on what you should think about when you're talking to customers. So, first and foremost, how often and where is the process being pitched to the customer? So if you guys haven't set up any sort of processes or built this into like a sales pitch, that's why you want to make sure you're doing that. Because every customer is an opportunity to sell a plan. So it doesn't matter if they're buying something, they're doing a repair, whatever they're in their store for, they probably have there's a good chance they have cell phone insurance on their carrier, and they might not even know it. Or it's something that they might need because they have an expensive phone. But you got to make sure it's part of that process or whenever you pitch. So when people come in and let's say you have posters up, the chances of you doing a lot of AKKO sales based on someone asking about it proactively without you pitching it is going to be very low. So when you're positioning it and pitching it, you're going to do really well. If you're not going to do very well with it. It's all about repetition, practice, and consistency. So I know the first few times you try to position this, it might feel a little bit rough around the edges, but if you do it every day for every customer, it just becomes part of your pitch, and it's very easy to position. You learn how to overcome objections, and you kind of really can understand how to position it to each customer that you have. The other
Let's
thing is
pause
trying to
and
figure out
oh, sorry, go ahead.
The next thing is trying to figure out your target attachment rate for AKKO sales. So you can do this based on door swings, based on maybe a percentage based of repairs, however you want to do it. But it's really helpful to build some sort of metric and goal to like strive for yourself and for your employees. One of the things I hear all the time is like, no one wants it. It's like people want insurance. I've been in this industry for like over 20 years, and I've been on the insurance side for like 15 now. So I've heard every excuse in the book, and I can tell you, I've seen every store out there. I've seen stores that have 100% attachment rate, meaning they're slamming customers, doing it the wrong way. And I've seen people with 0% and everything in between. So all I can tell you is that if you position it every time and you're trying, you're going to do well. It's not that hard. And I think a 30% attachment rate is very fair in this industry. Coming from like the corporate retail side, I saw a lot of stores that were pretty healthy in the 50 to 65% range. A little bit different sale in that scenario versus like repair, but I know it's doable. But if you have a 30% attachment rate, that means 7 people out of 10 are going to say no. And I think a lot of people get distracted and like, wow, no one wants this because I asked 3 people, nobody wanted it. 3 people isn't nobody. Like if you ask 100 people, you're going to get 30 to say yes, as long as you're positioning correctly. So don't let that deter you, just and try to learn from every no. And why did people say no? And then after they leave, like what could you have said to maybe get them to turn their mind or change their mind? So try to just learn from all those no's to get them to be a yes next time. Now
Let's pause on that for a minute and give some examples of a sales pitch. We got David on here who sells a lot of plans. I have my way. So let's give these guys a couple of guys and girls on here a couple of examples of when that best time is from what we've experienced, and kind of how to bring them into the conversation.
Yeah, let me go through these first, if you don't mind. Like I've got a few key points, and then I wanted to kind of talk about that. Does that work?
Sure.
Yeah, so we've got, let's see here. Yeah, so let's cover these next 2, then kind of go to the positioning. But as I mentioned, like I said, I've been, I've kind of heard everything and seen everything in these stores and seen what works and what doesn't work. But the first thing to just try to bring up in conversation, right? So the next 6 or 7 points here are just things that kind of think about, kind of have these like at your disposal in your head when customers come in and how to position it. So the first one, this is Brian's one, right? If a customer comes into your store needing a repair, just say, hey, do you have AKKO? Are you here to do your AKKO claim? They'll say, no, what's that? And this helps bring up the conversation. So that's like kind of the easiest one, right? So they have a broken phone. Oh, are you here to do your AKKO claim? What is that? Oh, okay. Well, let me explain that to you. And then when you're explaining that cost of repair, mention how much it could have been or it would be if they had AKKO. So let's say the screen's going to cost $400 to fix, right? Say, hey, it's $4 to fix this, but just so you know, if you have AKKO, I can tell you about this later. It's only X amount of dollars, as low as $5 a month. It'd only be $29 for your deductible. So try to bring it up early and often within the conversation with the customer, so you keep planting seeds in their head, like, okay, AKKO. And then when you actually go to position and try to close the sale, they know what AKKO is, and they're not getting thrown, hey, do you want fries with that at the end type of positioning. The other thing that works really well, I know from corporate retail, is explaining device payment. And I don't know if you guys all understand how this works, but if you go to, if you go to Verizon, and I'll just show this to you guys real quick, like how this works. But, if I want an iPhone 4, let's just go to, oh, they're going to make it hard on me, aren't they? Yeah. I'll skip this. But, oop. Do you guys still see this right now? Okay.
Yep.
I was going to show you like a Verizon, but if you go to any of the carriers and you go through the process of trying to buy a phone, they'll say, hey, this phone's only going to be $24 a month, $33 a month. It sounds great, right? So customers are like, sweet, I can get this new iPhone. I only pay $30 a month, give or take. What customers don't really understand is that if anything happens to that phone, regardless of when within that 24, and Verizon actually 36 months now, which is absurd, you're on the hook to pay those device payments back. But if you lost your phone, let's say in month 1, or it was stolen, or you broke it beyond repair, you have to pay Verizon back those payments. So some of these phones that are $1,100 and you're like a payment or 2 in, not only are you without a phone, you got to replace it with something, you have to pay back Verizon. You owe them money. You owe them $1,000. And so I don't think a lot of customers resonate with that. And I know like in a corporate retail setting, it's probably easy to have that conversation when they're buying the phone and saying, hey, this is why you need insurance. But if you do see people that have a newer iPhone, and you guys probably know what a newer iPhone or a newer high-end Samsung looks like, just ask them, say, hey, do you have insurance on that thing? Oh, no. How far into your agreement are you? Oh, I just got it 3 months ago. Got it. Well, you know what happens if you break that phone right now? Like, you owe them all that money. So you can have that conversation with the customer to help solidify the value of why they need insurance on their device. But I know that one's really important because customers, like I said, don't know. And they're going to be thankful if you explain how that works if they didn't know how that works in the first place. The other one is, do you have insurance with your carrier? And a lot of people don't know they have this. I can't tell you like the amount of people I've talked to, like just friends I know that have broken a phone and they'll say, oh, I don't have insurance. Like, oh, are you sure? Just check your bill. And they'll check their bill and they actually have it. The reason is, and coming from, I dealt with Verizon Indirect forever, is that people slam insurance. They'll just throw it on your account. You don't even know it because they have metrics tied to it. So they have to have a certain attach rate. So it's kind of shifty, but they do it, right? But a lot of customers don't know they have it. If they do, Verizon just jumped it to $19 a month, which is insane, right? Like $19 to cover pretty much any device, any higher end phone, which is super expensive. And our same plan is going to be 11. So it's kind of a no-brainer if you're paying that much to the carrier to switch it to AKKO. And once again, customers typically don't know it that they're spending on it. Next one is phones come with 12-month warranties. So this is a trick that we used to use back in the day too, is that let's say you guys are selling a new phone, or let's say you're selling a device like an iPhone 14, right? Your warranties are all going to probably vary on what you guys offer. But basically what we want to do is make sure, say, hey, look, how old is that phone? Oh, you've had it a year. So your extended warranty, or your warranty that you got with that phone from Apple or Samsung is expired. So you're not protected for anything. So that covers manufacturer defects, but it still doesn't even cover lost, stolen, or damaged. So we can add AKKO, then you get the coverage for everything because you're beyond that first 12-month period. So it's another thing, another like tool in your toolbox, basically, just to understand those warranties. Once they expire, the manufacturer warranties, they're fully unprotected if they don't have insurance. Next is bring it up early in the conversation, like I mentioned. Try to plant seeds along the conversation with the customer. Bring up AKKO, bring up the importance of having protection or insurance. And this is the thing, this is kind of hate this term because it's been overused, but it's like, hey, do you want fries with that? And that's what happens a lot. That's what I used to see. Is like, hey, you're bringing up a customer, like, oh, do you want insurance? No. Okay. Like, it's not a good sales pitch, right? So try to sell the value of why they need insurance or why they need protection, and you're gonna do a lot more. You'll get a lot more sales than just trying to tack it on at the end. And it all comes down to, like I said, about planting those seeds along the entire sales and conversation with the customer, that whole process, because it's baked in their brain by the time you actually ask to close that sale. The other thing is highlighting the ease of claims. One of the things, like, they're in your store, they probably like you, hopefully, and you're probably convenient for them to get to. So use that to your advantage. Say, hey, we're part of the AKKO repair network, which is great. So what that means is next time, if you have AKKO and you have a phone that needs to get repaired, you have to come back to us rather than having to ship your phone in somewhere or having to go to some crazy store, you need to come back to us. So use that as a selling tool for in your advantage, because you guys are part of our network, right? So use that. You're the backbone of what we do. So put that in your sales positioning. And the other thing too is, what's your backup plan? So, hey, you got this new phone, or maybe they're buying a phone from you and they don't want insurance. What's your backup phone if you break this phone or lose this phone? What are you going to do? Do you want to spend $400 on a new screen, or do you want to spend $800 to get it fully replaced if you lose it? So put them in the corner. It's a good open-ended question, right? It's not a yes or no. It's like, hey, what's your backup plan? What are you gonna do if you break this phone? I don't know. Well, this is probably why you want the screen protection for $5, or this is why you want full protection for $11. So just use those open-ended questions for the customer, ask them what's going to happen. And I've always loved that backup plan, that positioning, because it really gets the customer to talk, and then you can help really explain the value of why they need this protection. So let's talk about sales positioning. We've got about 20-30 minutes left here, so want to make sure you guys can kind of chime in. But first thing I wanted to mention is phone repair. So think about like each customer that you have coming into your store, whether they're buying a phone, getting a phone repaired, or maybe they're repairing or buying another device. So I know all your shops kind of do different things, but maybe they're getting a game console fixed or getting a computer fixed. There's still an opportunity, right? So for phone repair, once again, hey, let's say a customer comes to your store, hey, my phone's broken. Do you have AKKO? Are you getting your claim done here from AKKO? No, what's that? Perfect way to position it, right? And then explain that repair cost. Oh, shoot, it's going to be $400. No problem, we get it fixed. And then use that to your advantage at the end after it's fixed. Say, hey, I know it's $400 just now, but you should really get AKKO. It's $11 a month. Next time this happens, your deductible is only $29, and you pick up lost and stolen coverage and other damage. How does that sound? Perfect. Warranties, once again, talk about this, explain that, like, hey, if you have an older phone that's out of warranty, here's a way you can get full coverage of your device now that you have no coverage whatsoever. And then we're part of the repair network. I just talked about that again. Use that at your advantage, make sure you position that to customers. Now when they're buying a phone, explain the replacement cost. Let's say they're buying an iPhone 14 from you, or 13. Let them know what it costs to fix that screen. So, hey, this phone is only $400 today, but just so you know, if you were to break this screen, we charge $200 to get this thing fixed. Or if your charging port breaks, it costs this. Kind of make sure they understand what that costs to repair or replace is. And it really solidifies a really, $5, $8, or $11 plan, or even $15 plan. And then if your phones come with a warranty, great. Let them know, like, hey, we have a 60-day warranty, but after that 60 days, if anything happens, you're on your own. That's why we have AKKO to kind of use as the backup, in case anything else happens to your device. Once again, we're part of the repair network. Use that to your advantage and make sure you explain that to them. Then finally, the repair, buying other devices. Let's say you have someone coming in with a gaming console, and maybe that person has a kid or two with them. Maybe they have a spouse or someone with them. Look to see what other devices they have with them. So you look at me, I've got an Apple Watch on, I got an iPhone. Hey, do you know that we have this awesome plan for $15 a month? It's called the AKKO Everything Plan. It covers your phone, covers this gaming console we just fixed for a couple $100, covers your phone, your tablets, blah, blah, blah. 25 other electronics. How does that sound? And then ask them, like, hey, do some digging. Do you have insurance with your cell phone carrier? Oh, you do? How much is that? $19. Cool. We have this great plan. It's only $15. It covers all this other stuff, and it's cheaper. Let's get you set up with that, okay? Perfect. So once again, every customer is an opportunity. You just want to make sure that you're positioning it to them. So with that, let's take a pause, and let's try to get.
Well, let me add one thing. Let me add one thing about the warranty. Industry standard right now, shops usually offer about a 1-year warranty on a repair, unless it's an OEM screen, and it's only like, I think 90 days. But you could literally position it as long as you have AKKO, you have a lifetime warranty. If your battery goes bad in 3 years, AKKO will pay to cover it. You have coverage. So like when you sell a device that is obviously outside of warranty, because iPhone 11s are not going to be within warranty still, or iPhone 12, they're obviously out of the deal. You can say it comes with a lifetime warranty as long as you have AKKO. Okay, because after 30 days of being registered, that device has manufacturer's warranty on it through AKKO. So you can kind of throw that into your pitch as well. But definitely make sure you say, as long as you have AKKO.
All right, Aziz, you had a question? I don't know if you want to come off mute or if you want to just type it in, but feel free to chime in.
Aziz, you'll need to unmute yourself.
Does AKKO everything require receipts? That's a good question. For some of the items it does, but some it does not. For the phone it doesn't. For some of the other electronics you might need a receipt. Lucia, do you have more detail on that, by the way, like what we require receipts for on that one?
The receipts typically are just for theft and loss. I think, you know, our team understands that not everybody's always going to have the receipt, especially if they're covering devices that they've already had for a little while. So usually it's flexible, but it's typically just to verify that the customer is the owner of that device that they're filing a claim on.
It really comes important if someone tries to register one phone and 12 iPads. You know, that's not normal behavior. So yeah, they're going to require receipts. Aziz, yeah, can't register without a receipt.
Yeah, the
no,
other
they
thing
could.
you can do is you can, if it's not letting you proceed with the registration without uploading the receipt, you can just write a note and upload a photo of the note and say, hey, I got this from my grandma, or I bought this a year ago. I don't have the receipt. Maybe down the road, if you file a theft or loss claim, they might ask for some kind of verification.
Yeah, I had a customer came back. He's asking why you guys ask him for receipts, and he can't find any receipts or anything, and he couldn't register anything other than the phone. And I had other customer, he did a claim for his phone, and they asked him to send a receipt for them. It's like AKKO receipt, something at getakko.com, where he have to email it.
Yeah, if you run into any issues, just reach out to us. We can help push things along. But if it's for registration, just have them upload a note about where they got the device from and when, or if it was a gift. Just have them write that down and upload it in that field.
Gotcha. And I had other problem. Our wholesale price for a phone, like you buy it wholesale, is more expensive one. Like it's not more expensive, it's the same price how much black market sell it for. And you guys went on black market price.
Might want to look at where you're buying your phones from.
Everywhere, more
I can help you with
expensive.
that. Typically, I'm seeing Tony Baker's pricing or Trillium's
Very
pricing.
expensive.
Right. Typically, I'm seeing that they're about $50 to $75 less. But there is a small cushion that AKKO does have on that. But you got to look at it though, like car insurance, right?
Mhm.
If your car blue books out at $10,000 and you do $12,000 in damage, it doesn't mean that you can't get another car or get your car fixed. It's just your car is only worth $10,000.
Gotcha. So it's on eBay more expensive and Best Buy pre-owned more expensive. Everywhere is more expensive. They just had a deal on black market, and that's how they match it with. They couldn't match it with Best Buy or eBay.
Yeah, if you ever get stuck with things like that, like a one-off like that, just reach out to me or Lucia.
And most of our phones, we buy them from eBay too, like in the store for replacements and stuff.
Yeah. Like I said, if you have those one-offs like that, just reach out to us.
Gotcha. If you guys leave me an email, I can reach out to you.
Also, Aziz, we just launched a new vendor member that sells devices that need minor repairs. From what that I've already bought from them, I mean, they're saving a ton of money on these phones. Log into your portal, and it was the last one that Nicole did, I think end of last week.
Yeah, I tried to get on that. I missed the time between us and California or something.
No worries.
Yeah, if I can send me the link, that will be awesome.
Yeah, just click on the video link inside your portal. It's recorded in there for you.
Sounds good.
Okay. But like they said too, I mean, you can also get a hold of me since you're RFA. you know, if you have a one-off situation, I can, they're pretty quick to respond to me, and you know, AKKO's very understanding, so
Mhm.
we'll just take
And
them on a case by case.
for the claim, they won't cover more than 350. Is that right?
No, they
AKKO.
won't cover more than the replacement cost of the device.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I see. So
and
like,
they,
sorry.
well, you go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yes, for Apple 14 Pro and Pro Max and 15 Pro and Pro Max, only the Pro editions, they require genuine Apple part. We can get
Yeah.
those, but those are expensive. Even
Yeah.
the part price is more expensive than repairing it at Apple Store.
Yep, I know. So what some people are doing is using the self-help on that to get the screen. And as long, you know, we'll take this offline. You and I'll chat with you about it. But yes,
I do the
are more expensive.
self-service thing, but the price will be more expensive than Apple. What my
Understood.
question is you guys gonna pay me my my labor like the price I will ask for it, whatever I charge the customer, or
How
they
is it
will pay
more?
me compared to Apple?
Well, they're going to pay you what your retail price is. I mean, average, and they again understood that there are going to be some repairs that's more expensive, but you know, it's how do you position your price plus? I can't talk.
80
How
to
do you mark
100
them up? 80 to 100 plus cost of parts, right?
top the parts here.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Cool. Well, hey guys, I know we're coming close to the top of the hour here.
Let's give David a chance. David, are you able to? Your video's not on now, but I know that you're one of the you sell a ton of plans. Which can you kind of share what you do to sell so many plans? There you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I think one thing that one of the reasons why Brett hired me in the first place was to kind of help educate and give confidence to the guys and the sales team around us. And one of the things I've had the luxury of having is I actually used to work for Verizon for 14 years as a sales manager, so I'm quite familiar with all the you know the you know the pushiness for the quotas and how much insurance costs and what you have to go through and what warranty covers and what it doesn't cover. So what I've done is working alongside Britt is starting with education with the customers. So if the customers are educated on what they have, what they're getting with us, they're more likely to buy. So the first thing is educate them on what AKKO does. I usually start with the $11 plan with everybody. So I don't talk about the 5, I don't talk about the 8. I start with the 11, and based off of the products that I find out that they have, whether they have a tablet or if I see they're wearing a watch or we've helped them out with other things in the past, I can pivot and go like, hey, I noticed that you had a tablet with us fixed before. Is that, do you guys have that covered by any chance? And they're like, no, we don't have the tablet covered. We just have our phones covered. So you can pivot to anything. There's always an opportunity to sell AKKO. It just depends on which plan is going to fit them best. If somebody says, hey, I only have I don't really break my screens, but I don't know, I would like it to have a couple claims per year if anything happened to my battery or this and that. Well, then I can pivot and go back to the $8 one. But it's an either or sale for me because, in my opinion, I'm doing them an injustice if I don't give them education on what we offer and what they're maybe currently paying for, but they're not getting a benefit from it. So if I can show them the benefit of what our insurance brings, beyond what just their warranty. They think, oh, I have warranty, like that 1-year warranty. I'm like, well, that only covers manufacturer defects, right? And you're most likely going to have to send that back to Samsung. It depends on the whoever you have, Apple, Samsung, LG. They still make phones, I don't think so. Motorola. But if we can educate them and we know and we're sharp with what we have to offer, I think, like I said, that's one of the reasons why our store is so successful is we educate our customers and we know where to pivot.
Perfect. Abel, do you want to share? You're pretty much doing it the same way, aren't you?
Yeah, pretty much the same kind of concept. as David, I just emphasize the fact about OEM screens, like, hey, look, if you want to replace the Samsung Z Fold 5, that screen itself is going to be probably costing the same amount of the phone. The best part about, getting our insurance today is that we're going to get you covered, for cases like your phone. We just build it up and say like we can replace it. Unlike Samsung warranty, after so much time, they're not going to do anything for you. So I just emphasize the fact about AKKO, how beneficial part it's going to be to have AKKO by your side. And of course, I have AKKO myself, so I always refer to myself like, hey, look, I have this type of phone. I have the Z Fold 5 or I have the Z Fold 4, and I use AKKO. And I know for a fact that if anything ever happens, I'm covered as well too. So it's good to refer back to yourself to show them like, hey, look, I even own my own product.
It's definitely a sales process, sales in general. And I'm sure everybody on this call can testify to that, look at it as, what would you do, right? So it's everything in life is nothing but sales, right? And it's putting on a show basically. I mentioned this one on the last call that we had. Heeman wanted me to program it for him, but basically it's starting off being empathetic. Oh my gosh, what happened to your phone? I'm sorry to hear about that. Do you by chance happen to have your AKKO claim number? Listen to your tone, listen to your voice. It's not, and even with your own sales of tempered glass or cases or getting someone to repair their phone, your sales in general will increase. Pathetic, like you care. Okay, you may not ever see the person again. You might see them again in 6 months, but they want to feel like you care about them. I start mine off with, well, after I ask them if they have AKKO, I'll say, well, good news, bad news. Let me give you the good news first, okay? When you bought your phone a few years ago, your iPhone 12 Pro Max, you ended up paying close to what, about $1,000 for it? And everyone's going to nod their head because that's about what, they don't remember, but phone prices today are about $1,000 for a iPhone 15, and they do go lower in the long run, but Apple does hold their value better than Samsung. So, just say when you originally bought your phone, you paid a pretty penny for it, probably close to $1,000, right? And they'll say, well, the good news is you're not going to pay anything like that today. For your iPhone 12, looks like it's going to run you $179.99 plus tax. I know that's expensive as well. Don't worry about that for now, because the next time you break your phone, you break your screen, I'm going to help you with this AKKO to where it's only going to cost you $29. You'd rather pay $29 next time than $180, wouldn't you? If they shake their head and say no, then don't even try to rebuttal. They're not going to listen no matter what you do. They just fix their phone and move on, and you're getting paid the same whether they break their phone again or not. But it's all about the empathetic, and I even go a little bit further in it, to where when I bring the phone out of the back of the shop, I wrap it in a microfiber towel, and I leave the plastic on the front of the screen, and I'll hold it like a baby. Subliminally, I'm telling that customer, this is fragile. I'm holding it, I'm cupping it like this in my hand. And then I'll take the microfiber towel off and pull down the screen, and I'll hand it to them. Like, now be careful, it's glass. Okay. And they're like, oh, so now I'm telling them again, it's fragile, right? And then I go right into, okay, we talked about this plan. Is that going to be enough protection for you, or do you want this plan? I don't ask them, do you want to get it? I'm assuming that they're going to say yes. That works for me. Okay. It's repetition though, and exactly what Ed had said. You're going to get people that say no, and that's perfectly fine. Not every single person that calls you to do a repair is going to come into your store. Not every person that comes into your store is going to pay you for a repair or buy tempered glass from you. That's fine. But consistency over resistance equals results. Okay. Being the consistent one. I think I know I told the story the last time I was on the call when we went to the expo, because I had to drive all of our AV equipment out there. I stopped at 5 shops along the way that told me the AKKO can't be sold, and my average was 4 out of 5 people I sold the plans to by using that exact same approach. So I hope that helps. Any RFA member is more than welcome to get me on a one-on-one consultation with your team to kind of give you some sales pitches. Just book it on my calendar. Not a problem at all. We're all here to help. But the biggest thing is, what Ed had said, you got, being consistent. And the best part about this, guys and ladies, is that, when you sign up that customer, you're not really doing it for the commission. The commission's nice. You're doing it because when that customer breaks their phone again, AKKO's going to send them right back to you, and you're going to charge for the repair. Okay, Abel, you said you have some questions. Let me pause myself and open it up for Abel.
So I'm not sure, how the other companies are doing it here, but I do have some Mexican customers that only speak Spanish, or that only speak Spanish. So about like 50% of my customers here only speak Spanish, and so when we try to pitch them AKKO in Spanish and they get it, they just don't really know what they're doing sometimes. I was gonna see, is there a way that AKKO can send them the app in Spanish? Besides them translating on their phone, even when they download it on their phone, it's all in English. So sometimes they have trouble with that. So I tell them come to the store and I try to help them out as much as I can. But future wise, that was my main question: is this, like, can AKKO do that for some of my customers? I'm not sure if somebody else or your other retailers come through with that same kind of problem. And then my other question was, when we're submitting invoices to y'all, right? How do y'all want the invoice to be submitted? I know sometimes everybody does different things, but is there a specific way you want the invoices to be sent after we do the repair?
I can answer one of those. Lucia, if you could help me with the first one, I'll answer the second one. You're muted, Lucia.
Oops. So right now we don't have an option for the app in Spanish. Customer service is able to translate some of the messages for customers if they need help with that. But it's definitely something we're looking into. We're working on getting our marketing materials translated. It would be helpful at least to get you a guide or something for registration in the meantime until we can get an update to our app.
Perfect. Abel, your second question, when you log into your AKKO portal and you click on claims, and then you type in the customer's phone number and claim number, it pulls up their claim. And then down at the bottom of that, you click on submit claim. When you click that, it auto-populates your email client, and the subject line has the claim number and the customer's name, and just attach your invoice to that email, and it gets sent directly to the claim team for payout.
No, I understand that, but in my situation, it's a little different because, like the claim, when I write the claims, I write them. I give the customer a receipt, so then I send y'all the receipt of the invoice. So that's why that's why I'm speaking about, like, how would y'all like it to be read? Is there a specific way that it would say that? Because I have to send y'all a picture of the invoice. I'm not sure why y'all tell me to send a picture of the invoice, or
you can't print the receipt after you can't print the invoice after the customer makes their payment to you.
We don't do that. As I said, it's a little bit different here. So we just do them a physical receipt. We don't really do anything else other than that. We have a file here that we keep up to date with different things, but we just manually physically write out.
What do you use for your point of sale system?
We don't have a point of sale system. We don't need one. Either they pay cash or check. And when they pay cash or card, they pay card, they just pay my terminal fee, or they Zelle me, PayPal, however they need to. Whatever's convenient for my customer. And then we don't really have a cash register. There's no need for one here in my store. Everything's done electronically.
I mean, I have another store that kind of does the same thing, and they manually write it on a receipt and send that in and just, scan it to an email and submit it in that way. But you're going to need to break out parts, labor, and tax, and where the customer paid their deductible.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know exactly. How did y'all want that?
Yeah, there's one or two member partners that I see they submit. It's like this big. It's a handwritten receipt. You're going to want to put the claim number on there, the customer's number on there, a name on there, the IMEI number, the IMEI on there. Break out parts, labor, date. Basically, what a printed receipt would look like if you had some sort of a point of sale system. um but something like that. And I know you say you don't need a point of sale, but you do realize that we have one that's only like $30 a month, right? And it'll make everything all in one spot for you. It does your inventory and everything.
Yeah. Nobody told us about that.
Yeah, go log into your RFA member portal and click on PHP point of sale and watch the video on there, and then fill out the form, and he'll get a hold of you and give you a demo. It's very, very, very inexpensive.
Yeah, so we weren't really aware of that part
No
there.
worries. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, as I said too, but my main concern too was just helping out the customers who don't really speak
Sure.
English. Of course
Yeah.
it is good for them to have it, because sometimes they'll take it out of state and then they break it, they come bring it back over here, and they want us to fix it. So we try to explain to them how to fix it, and they don't know the process yet. So we had to explain to them the process of, oh, you got to make the claim. Once you make the claim, you're gonna check your email and everything. So we're going back and forth.
Hey, Abel, are you saying that they don't know the process because they can't read English? They can't work the app?
Exactly. Yeah, because they don't read in English. They only read in Spanish. So we're translating everything to them.
You know what? I don't know. Just thinking, because I mean, being Mexican myself, I don't speak Spanish very well. However, what I would be just thinking about your situation. I mean, you could also, I don't know if you could like get the verbiage, like some of the, like, I don't know, create something that you could give to your customers that kind of has a basic outline in Spanish that you can give to them. Be like, hey, refer to this. If you got any other questions, come back and see me. I know there's a lot of information inside the AKKO app, but if there's like some bullet points you can give to them to kind of guide them, that might help them as well. But just throwing that out there.
Yeah, no, I fully understand about that as well too. It's just when they're submitting the claim, some of these customers don't come to the store. So I'm trying to translate that to them over the phone. So when they're submitting the claim, everything's done in Spanish.
Yeah. I mean, that's, like I said, I'm going to be working at one of Britt's stores in Salem here next week going forward. And his, I think half of his clientele is Hispanic. So I might have to get creative as well too. So if I find anything that works for me, I'll let you know as well.
That works out.
Cool. You got it. You got this.
Another question came up.
Hey,
can we set up a link?
Hey, Brian. Hold on, sorry to interrupt. No. I have to go to another meeting right now. I'm gonna jump, but
okay.
Feel free to stick on with Lucia and Brian. But hope you guys have a good weekend, and we'll talk soon. But
all right, Ed. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys.
So the Armand, if I hope I pronounced your name correctly. If I didn't, please accept my apologies. Your question is, can we set up a link for your website to make commission? Okay, so there is a link. Okay, AKKO does have one. Here's why I struggle with it, and I do my best to try to talk people out of it. There is one that you'll get your commissions. Two things aren't going to happen though. One, you're not going to see the plan in your dashboard. Okay, so when the customer does buy it, AKKO does get a report of it, but as far as your dashboard, your AKKO partner dashboard, you're not going to be able to see your customer there. Okay.
Oh, Brian, here, let me stop you there. That is one of our options. We do have another option as well now where we can send you custom links for each individual plan, so customers won't be able to, go choose by themselves. Heman, I think we got you set up with those as well. I don't know if you've used them yet, but those will track to the portal, so they will be able to
Oh,
see them. Yeah. And you
okay.
can send them out. The only issue with those is just that, it's not giving customers a page where they can look through the plans. You'll just have to send them the link for a specific plan, which could make it easier in some cases for your own marketing or emails if you focus on, a specific type of protection too.
The other downside in my mind, and I know I don't speak for everybody, and everybody's got a different opinion, and I understand that, but if the customer doesn't follow instructions and upload 2 good pictures, well, what happens with that is AKKO is going to initially say, "Hey, Brian, we got to deny the claim." Then I got to pick up the phone. I got to call you. You and I got to figure out, is there a way we can prove the phone wasn't broken when they registered? And then that takes time out of your day and mine. So, I mean, there is one, yes. It's just more of a chance of a customer not registering correctly and then potentially being upset if their claim gets denied because they never uploaded 2 pictures. Because those 2 pictures are the most important part of the whole process. So, if you want to move forward with that, Lucia can help you out with that. But I just keep that in mind. That if you do, you might want to, and Lucia will help you with the language on your website. Maybe highlight it, must upload the required photos for coverage to begin. I don't know, just something to eliminate customer complaints as best we can. And Lucia, you could help them out with the wording on the website for that. Is that correct?
Yep.
Perfect. Perfect.
Cool. Any other
Okay.
questions, feedback?
Feel free to unmute yourselves or just type it in the chat. Oh, PC IDs, Lucia, are you getting those?
We don't need them today. I think I'll put my email in the chat here if you want to get set up with those links we were talking about, or if you have any other, program ideas or things that you would like to see as part of the AKKO program in the future. Just feel free to reach out and let me know, and we'll see what we can do to get you helped out.
Yeah, and David, just to and thank of course, everyone knows I'm not an employee of AKKO. AKKO is a separate entity, but we work very, very close. AKKO does work with a lot of different. It's not just it has to be this way or no way at all. They understand that shops do things differently, and of course, they have me here to help when those some situations might look different, or and then I look into it. I looked into one recently on why an OEM part still showed unknown screen. I had to look into that because I didn't know that how you guys were doing this, and I found out, right? So, um, in any event, this is one of the biggest reasons when we started working with Jared and the team, 5, 6 years ago, on why we don't work with any other device coverage company directly like this. And it's largely because of the way AKKO, handles things. Is everything picture perfect? No. But if something does go wrong, they're the first ones to fix it as quickly as possible. And in some cases, when there was an issue with the customer, I have seen them waive the customer deductible because maybe a claim slipped through the cracks or whatever. So they're very humanized is the words I want to use. So thanks for acknowledging that they work with different businesses, doing business differently.
Yeah, absolutely. No, thank you, and thanks for clarifying the spiff. Like I said, I'm excited to get back, and I know some of my guys weren't able to be on the call today, but at least share the information with them and let them know what the deal is, so they get their commission, and we increase our bottom line with this. So yeah,
And
looking forward
just
to it.
make sure when your employees log in, make sure first one, all your employees have their own AKKO login through Britt's main account. Okay, he has to do it. Okay, and then make sure they select their name when they're selling a plan. If they, if they don't select their name, then it's going to go to somebody else.
Yep, and that's all come through the team tab, just so everyone knows, just in case you're curious too. That's also, we're gonna make sure that they have any up-to-date contact information. All the bonuses typically go to their phone numbers. So I know some people, don't want to get contacted, but as of right now, the only time that we're contacting the employees is sending them money. So they will want to put their phone number.
Thank you, Lucia.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. That's it for me. Lucia, do you have anything else?
No, I think that's all good. My email's in the chat. So if anyone has any questions, wants to get set up with links, just feel free to reach out.
Heem, I see you unmuted yourself.
Yeah, I'll share something that we're just starting to try. We decided to answer the phone a little differently and indicate when someone calls in, they want a price right away. First of all, we position the value of our company. We don't give them a price right away. But then we tell them, I have two options for you. I have one option that includes a full screen guarantee. And then I give them that price. And it includes $60 for the AKKO annual. And then I say, and then I give them a price that's $60 less. And you can pay again full price when it breaks. And so far, the reaction is I probably want to do the one that has the full screen guarantee, because that buys them the annual in advance, which waives the first deductible anyway.
Yeah.
I like it.
So I'll let you know on future calls how that's going.
Perfect. Perfect. All right, everybody. Well, if there's nothing else, I hope everybody has a wonderful 4th of July. Please come back with the same fingers and toes that you start the festivities off with. And if anybody needs to get a hold of me, email's the best.
Brian, got a question?
Yes, sir.
You gonna put this all recorded on RFA portal?
Yes, Nicole will get it on there. I think she's traveling today. But she handles all that for me. It should be on by, I want to say Friday. It'll be on there. And I believe that, like with the last one, I believe she'll send an email out. It's under AKKO recordings is where it'll be.
Oh, okay. Because I was just trying to kind of follow up with all the other ones that went, and then I couldn't find them on the portal.
Yeah, give me a quick second. Let me just log into like my portal really quick, and I can probably tell you right where it's at. rfamembers.com, products, and then
Share
there's
your screen.
AKKO sales training and AKKO sign up and sales training.
Oh, it's under some.
Well,
share your screen.
Well, hold on here. Yep, I can do that. Give me a second. Okay. Here. There we go. Okay, share screen. Screen one. Share. Okay, so let me kind of back out. So when you log into rfamembers.com, click on products. And I think live leaking. It's in one of these. Sorry. I think it's this one. Masterminds training. Okay, there's that one. There's one with Tushan. There's one with Jesse. I need to make, you know what? Thank you for bringing this to my attention. I need to have a conversation with Nicole to make it a little bit easier to get to them. I'll have her fix that, and we'll just have a tab in here for AKKO Masterminds training calls, and that way you guys will know right where they're at.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, excellent.
No problem. All right.
Thanks
well,
for
again,
a great call today.
Yeah, thank you, everybody, and I hope this helps, and start selling those plans.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.